Hello, I am Lexi, and I am a homeschool mom of 6, and I blog at lextoneclectic.com, where I share secrets of authentic homeschooling, and I love to share about what curriculum we're using in our homeschool. Because as you can guess from the title of my blog, we use a very eclectic curriculum, and I pull resources from lots of different vendors to create our homeschool curriculum each year. So today I wanted to give you a little tour of a fairly new program. This is Lightning Literature and Composition, and this is grade 3. This program was just released, I think, in the past year. They've had a middle school and high school level program, but they have started to come out with elementary level literature studies. And I have not done any literature study with my elementary kids, so this is our first time trying any literature curriculum. So this is published by Hewitt Homeschooling, and they were kind enough to let me review their programs with my kids this year, and I'm going to be sharing about them, about how I've used them in our homeschool, and I'll be sharing reviews of the different programs. So I'm going to show you grade 3 today. I'm using this with my 3rd grader, and I'm also using the same level with my 4th grader, because he is not a very confident reader, and so and the 4th grade program is not out yet, which is fine with me because my son will do really well in this level just so I can build his confidence with reading. So here's a little glance into, this is the teacher's guide, and I decided to show you a lesson here kind of toward the back. It's on one of my very favorite books. This is week 31. And there are several weeks on the book, The Tale of Despero. And in this lesson, it covers chapters 1 through 15. So this is a week's worth of work, and I'm going to give you a little tour of what it would look like from the teacher perspective and also from the student book. So this shows you any optional materials that you might want to gather for this week, some information on castles, information on the differences between rats and mice, and French phrases. Then it gives you a brief overview of the grammar concepts that will be covered in this lesson. Because the thing about Lightning Literature is they do literature studies, but it also weaves in some grammar using the topics and sentences from the literature, and then there are also composition assignments that are woven throughout the weeks. So it's a pretty complete language arts curriculum. You would just need to add spelling. So it shows you right here the composition. You're going to be focusing on a fairy tale. So the days are right here. They're broken down for you. It tells you what to do each day. So day 1 has a little introduction to the book, since this is the first week that you'll be covering this particular book. It tells you exactly which chapters to read through for this day, 1 through 4. And then there are some great questions so you can have a discussion with your child. They continue over here onto this page, and there are some sample answers so that you can know if your student is answering correctly. And then there is an overview of the grammar for that day, and there's answers to the workbook pages. So I'm going to go ahead and show you over here. This is the student workbook, and I'm going to flip to the back to this lesson on the Tale of Despero. And this book is very colorful. It has big text, lots of room to write, and it's just very fun and inviting. It's great for kids to be able to write into with all the space. So it's clearly marked day 1. Here's part 1 and part 2. These are the 2 pages that your student would do. This one is about the indefinite article a or an and using them correctly, putting the correct one in each space. And then on this page, you're going to be underlining the different articles. So just some more practice with articles. And then at the end of the lesson, right here is the composition assignment. So for this unit, you're going to be working on fairy tales, and your student will actually be writing their very own fairy tale. So the great thing about this program is it takes the composition assignments and it breaks them down week by week into very doable sections. So you can see for this day, you are going to be thinking about the setting, and the character. So you can brainstorm with your child and make a list of kind of what they're thinking, and then the next day they're going to choose which one they actually use for their story. So it's just a day of brainstorming. Okay, day 2, it's kind of in the same format. You read chapters 5 through 8, and you have all of these discussion questions. And then you move into the grammar portion, and you're going to be reviewing coordinating conjunctions. So here are the answers to the student pages. So we'll flip through. Here's day 2. So you can see right here they're supposed to underline the subject of each sentence. And if it's a compound subject, place a C over it. And then on this one, underline the predicate of each sentence. And if it's compound predicate, you would put a C over it. So there are the sentences. And that would be all that they would do in their workbook for day 2. And then here's the note about the composition that they're going to be working on. Now they need to make a selection about the setting and the main character based off of the brainstorming that you did the previous day. So it gives you a lot of great tips, things to remind them, just how to direct them as they start thinking about the setting and the characters for their story. Okay, here's day 3. You read some more chapters, you have discussion, and then you have some grammar. One of the things that they're supposed to do is choose 5 to 10 words to put in the dictionary pages, and those are in the back right here of their student workbook. They look like this. So there's a page for each letter, and they choose words from the story, words that they may not be as familiar with, and they can write them in the back of their pages, and they can look them up. You can practice spelling them. You can do whatever you want with the words that you put in your dictionary page. So that is what they would be doing for day 3. There is one page right here for day 3, and it's sentence diagramming. So based on what they've been learning in the previous lessons, they've learned how to diagram sentences. So there are 2 sentences with lots of space right here for them to diagram both of those sentences. So day 3 only has 1 page in the workbook, but they're going to be doing some work back here in their dictionary pages. Okay, and then there's the composition right here. They're going to create at least 2 more characters. So it gives you some ideas for characters. Do you want to create an antagonist, a different character to fulfill some different roles? They give some lists and some ideas of what that character might do. And then they're asked to describe those characters. So they're just kind of setting the stage, planning out their fairy tale, getting all their setting, their characters all in order before they start actually writing. Okay, here's day 4. Again, you read some more chapters, 12 through 15, and then here is your discussion guide. Then the grammar section, and there are pages in your workbook. Here is the day 4 workbook page about realistic and fantasy writing. So it talks about the books that you've read in this class. They were fiction, and it talks about realistic fiction and fantasy fiction. And then you go through the books that you've read so far. Here's the great list of the books that are covered in this program. And you choose if they're realistic fiction or if they would be fantasy fiction. So it's a great discussion. They start learning some literary terms in addition to different grammar concepts. And then day 4, the composition. They need to think about how their characters will interact, and they need to think about the conflict that's going to be in their story. And then there's some examples to give them just to help them think. And then day 5 is kind of an extra day. There are not workbook pages to do. There's not reading scheduled. So if you have a 4-day school week, this is perfect for you because you don't have a lot of scheduled work on day 5. I use day 5 to work on the composition some more, and we just talk about it some more, brainstorm, we outline, we add more details. So it's just a great day to kind of catch up because the composition section takes us a while, while the literature and the grammar sections are a little shorter for us. It takes us a lot longer to work on our composition. So I use day 5 basically for our composition time. And then here are some ideas for extending the lesson, just like what was mentioned at the beginning. Ideas for looking at castles, talking about rats and mice, some French phrases. And so just some ways to kind of make a little mini unit study based off of what you've read for that week. And then it moves into another week. And this is another week in the same book. This is the last book that this program covers. So there's a little glance into Lightning Literature. I wanted to kind of show you what the lessons look like. You can see all the colorful pages in the student workbook. These are the parts that we haven't done yet. I don't think you want to see my children's really messy handwriting. But it's very colorful and fun, and I plan to do a review, a detailed blog review about what we've thought about the program so far. So be watching for that, but I thought a little video tour might help you if you're looking to make a curriculum decision soon and trying to plan out next year. You might want to consider Lightning Literature for your elementary kids to introduce them to literary terms and some great stories, and also have some great grammar review and then some fun composition exercises. So I'll be posting some links below this video so you can get more information about this program. And then once the reviews are up and they're live on the blog, I'll be sure to link those as well.